I am Reed. I am 27, just an average dude. IV made tons of money mistakes in my 20s, and now I want to share everything I've learned to help you take control of your finances and your life. All right, man, let me tell you something real quick. If you grew up in America like I did, you've heard this same story your whole life. Your parents told it to you, your teachers told it to you, your grandparents probably sat you down at some point and gave you the whole speech. Go to college, get a steady job, buy a house, work for 40 years, retire at 65 with $1 million in your 401k. Maybe start a family, get a wife, get a two-story house with a white picket fence and a nice green lawn. That is the American dream, man. That is what we all supposed to be working toward, right? That is the finish line. But let S be real for a second. That dream doesn't really work anymore, at least not for me. And honestly, not for most of us in our 20s, trying to figure out how to survive in this economy. We dealing with insane home prices that just keep going up. We've got student debt that follows us around like a shadow. We've got job instability where you can get laid off through a random email on a Tuesday morning. And we've got an economy that honestly feels like it is working against us half the time. So today I want to break down why the traditional American dream is broken. I want to talk about what has actually changed in the last few decades. And most importantly, I want to share what I am personally doing instead to build a life of real freedom and long-term wealth, even if it looks totally different from what our parents or grandparents imagined. Let me start with the raw numbers because I think that helps put things in perspective. Back in the 1950s and 60s, the American dream actually worked for a lot of people. One income could buy a house and support an entire family, just one person working, and you could own a home, pay the bills, put food on the table, and still have money left over. Education was insanely affordable compared to today. A college degree didn't cost you a decade of your income. Job security was at its highest. You could stay at one company for 30 years and retire with a gold watch and a pension. And home ownership was the main vehicle for building wealth. Your house was your best asset, your best investment, and your retirement plan all rolled into one. But now, let us fast forward to 2025, and pretty much every single part of that equation has flipped upside down. The median home price in the US is hovering around $412,000 to $420,000 depending on where you look. And man, I gotta tell you, that doesn't get you a nice house. In a lot of cities, that gets you a fixer-upper with mold in the bathroom and a roof that is about to cave in. Mortgage rates are sitting around 6.5 to 7%. So not only do you need a massive down payment, you are also paying a fortune in interest. Every single month, rents are skyrocketing too. Job loyalty doesn't protect you from layoffs or from technology replacing your role, and wages, yeah, they haven't kept up with inflation at all. Real wages actually declined for low-wage workers in 2025, so you are working harder than ever just to stay in the same place. Trying to play by the old rules in this new economy, that is a fast way to lose. Let me talk about college for a minute because I think this is one of the biggest scams we've even sold. Look, I am not anti-education at all. I went to school, I got my degree in computer science, I worked full-time through college just to pay my tuition so I could graduate without debt. But the idea that any degree automatically equals success is completely outdated. Now, kids are graduating today with $60,000 to $150,000 in student loan debt. And then what happens? They get entry-level jobs that pay $40,000 to $50,000 a year if they re-lucky. That math does not work. You are telling me I should go into debt for over $100,000 so I can get a job that pays $45K. That is going to take me over a decade just to break even. And here's the thing, I know people who skipped college entirely or dropped out and they're redoing fine. One of my buddies learned coding through YouTube and online courses. He is making 6 figures now working remotely with zero student debt. Another guy I know went to trade school, became an electrician, and he is making more money than most of my friends with bachelor's degrees. And he loves his work. He is not sitting in a cubicle staring at a screen for 8 hours a day. He is outside actually building things with his hands. I am not saying you should drop out of school. That is a personal decision and everyone's situation is different. But you need to look at the return on investment. Is it really worth paying 60 to 150 grand if it is going to take you 10 years? Just to pay that back, you have to treat education like any other investment. What is the ROI? What is the payout? Because right now, a lot of degrees have terrible returns. Even for me personally, I went to school, I got my degree in computer science, and I could not find a job in my field for the longest time. I was applying everywhere. I was sending out resumes like crazy. Nothing. I ended up switching my focus to data analytics, and now I have a job, but I make $19 an hour. I'll be transparent with you guys because I think honesty matters last year. On my tax return, I made $32,000. That is it, and I am in a lucky position where I don't have student debt because I was working full-time through college, but man, that is not what I was promised. I was told if I went to school, got my degree, and worked hard, I'd be making 6 figures by now. I was told college was the golden ticket, and instead I am making $19 an hour trying to figure out how to stack my money so I can actually have a future. And I am not alone. alone. There are millions of us in the same boat. Now let us talk about buying a house because this one hits close to home for me. Home ownership is one of the core pillars of the traditional American dream. We were raised to believe that buying a home is the ultimate milestone of success. You are not really successful until you bought a house, right? That is what everyone says. But in 2025, that goal has become borderline unrealistic for the majority of people our age. The median home price across the country is around $14,000. Let's say you want to put a 20% down payment to avoid private mortgage insurance. That is $82,000. I don't know a single person my age who has 82 grand just sitting in their bank account. And even if you could scrape together a down payment, you are looking at a 6.5 to 7% interest rate on your mortgage. Your monthly payment is going to be massive. Plus maintenance costs are going up, property taxes are going up, homeowners insurance is going up, everything is going up. And here is the thing that nobody talks about. Buying a house doesn't always make financial sense. Let me give you an example. Let's say you buy a house and your mortgage payment is $2,800 a month, or you could rent a similar place for $1,600 a month. That is a $1,200 difference every single month. Now, what if instead of putting that money into a house, you invested that $1,200 every month into VU or CHD? Those are low-cost ETFs that track the market. Over 10 years at an average 8% return, you have nearly $225,000. That is real money, man. And on top of that, renting gives you mobility. You are not stuck in one place. You can move for a better job. You can move to a cheaper city. You can change your life whenever you want. That flexibility is worth something. Renting and investing can actually make you wealthier than buying a house, and it gives you way more freedom. But that idea is directly against the traditional American dream, so nobody talks about it. Now let's talk about the 9 to 5, because this is another piece of the old dream that just doesn't hold up anymore. We used to think that having a steady corporate job was a safety net. You show up, you do your work, you collect your paycheck, and you are safe, right? Wrong. Now we have mass layoffs happening all the time. Companies are sending out emails to hundreds of employees saying your position has been eliminated effective immediately. Technology and AI are replacing jobs every single day, and remote work is being pulled back with everyone being forced to go back into the office. Now, I am not anti-corporate. I work a corporate job, and honestly, I like the company I work for. They treat me well, but the difference is I don't treat my job as my only plan. It is not my only strategy for success. I don't put all my eggs in that one basket. The new American dream is one job forever. That is a trap. The new dream is stacking your money slowly so you can retire early or at least have flexibility. It is building side income and having side hustles that give you options. It is investing early and often, even if it is just small amounts. It is learning how to navigate change and take advantage of new technologies instead of being afraid of them. Your security now comes from your adaptability, not from loyalty to some corporation that would replace you in a week if you drop dead. You have to be the CEO of your own life. That is the mindset shift that changes everything. The old dream traded your time for stability. That was the deal. You give me 40 years of your life and I'll give you a stable paycheck and a gold watch at the end. But it came at a cost. It came at the cost of your freedom. It came at the cost of your time. It came at the cost of your ability to choose what you actually want to do with your life. People spent 40 years grinding in jobs they hated just to enjoy a few good years at the end. And some of them never even made it to retirement. They worked their whole lives and then got sick or died before they could enjoy it. That is the reality nobody wants to talk about. But with our generation, we don't want to do that. We don't want to retire at 65. We don't want to wait until we old and tired to start living our lives. What if you never get there? What if you get hit by a bus at 55? What if you get cancer at 60? What if the world changes in ways you can predict? Waiting to live your life is a gamble, and the odds aren't in your favor. So that is why so many of us in our 20s and 30s are rejecting the old model. We want freedom. Now, we want flexibility now, we want autonomy now, not retirement, but many retirements throughout our life. Small pockets of freedom that we buy with smart financial moves and creative work that actually means something to us. So here's my question for you. What does the new American dream look like? And I am not going to pretend I have all the answers. I am just a 27-year-old guy making $19 an hour trying to figure this stuff out, like everyone else. But here's how I am rewriting the American dream for myself, and maybe some of this will resonate with you too. First thing I am doing is renting and investing. Instead of stressing myself out trying to buy a house that I can afford, I plan to rent below my means and invest the difference every single month. I put my money into low-cost ETFs like VU and VTI, and I also put a little bit into Bitcoin because I believe in the long-term potential. I am not trying to get rich overnight. I am playing the long game. Over 10 to 20 years by the time I am 37 or 47. I am hoping these investments will pay off massively. And in the meantime, I have freedom, I can move, I can travel, I can change my life whenever I want. That is worth more to me than owning a house that I am stressed about paying for every month. Second thing I am doing is building skills instead of collecting more student debt. I have my bachelor's degree, I paid for it, I earned it, but I feel like there is no reason for me to go back to school and take on more debt. With the power of the internet, I can learn almost any skill I want for free or very cheap. I can learn SEO, I can learn copywriting, I can learn coding, I can learn video editing, I can learn investing. Everything is out there on YouTube and online courses and books. I've been doing a lot of research on side hustles lately. I've been looking into SEO and affiliate marketing and digital products. I want to build skills that I can sell to people, skills that give me leverage, skills that make me valuable regardless of who I work for. Third thing is investing early and often, even if it is small amounts. Look, I don't make 6 figures. I told you I make 19 bucks an hour. But I invest consistently. I put $50 to $100 into the market every single week without fail. Some weeks it is tough. Some weeks I have to skip buying things I want so I can put that money into my future. But that consistency adds up over time. Compound interest is real. If you invest $100 a week for 10 years at 8% return, you end up with over $78,000. That is just 100 bucks a week. Imagine what happens if you can invest 200 or 300 a week. The numbers get crazy over time. You don't need a huge income to build wealth. You need consistency and patience. Those two things beat a high income with bad habits every single time. Fourth thing is owning my time. I work a corporate job, yeah, but I also run this channel and I am working on other projects on the side. I know this channel is huge yet, but I put a lot of thought and effort into it because it matters to me. I want to be someone who creates more than I consume. I want to build things. I want to make things that help people, and I am slowly building a life that is fully dependent on one income stream. That is the end goal for me, multiple income streams that support my lifestyle. So if one dries up, I am not completely screwed. That is real security. Not depending on one job or one source of income. Having options, that is what freedom looks like. Fifth thing, and this is maybe the most important one, I am investing in my health and my mindset. I run, I work out, I am starting to read more, I take time for myself. I rest because wealth means absolutely nothing if you are mentally and physically drained. What is the point of having money if you are anxious and stressed and miserable every single day? I see so many people my age burning out trying to chase money and status, and they completely exhausted. They don't sleep, they don't take care of their bodies, they don't have real relationships, and then they wonder why they feel empty. You have to take care of yourself first. Your health is your most important asset. Without it, nothing else matters. So let me ask you straight up, what does the new American dream look like for me at 27? Someone who has basically given up on the traditional version because it just doesn't work anymore. Here it is. My new American dream is freedom over status. I truly believe that our generation values freedom more than we value status. Who cares if you are a multimillionaire working 80 hours a week at a job you hate? But if you make a decent living and you have the freedom to choose what you do with your time, that is real wealth that beats fancy cars and big houses every single time. My new American dream is flexibility over ownership. When I made that video about renting versus buying, so many of you agreed that flexibility matters more than owning a house. We like knowing that we have options. We can change where we live, we can switch careers, we can explore different paths. We don't want to be locked into a 30-year mortgage that chains us to one place. Flexibility is the new status symbol, and my new American dream is alignment over approval. I want to live in alignment with my personal values. I want my financial goals to match what actually matters to me, not what my parents think I should do, not what my friends are doing, not what society expects from me. I want to build a life that feels right for me. That means saying no to a lot of things that other people think I should want, and that is okay. You have to be honest with yourself about what you actually value. Look, the old American dream worked for a lot of people back in the day. I am not here to disrespect that. Our parents and grandparents played by the rules that existed in their time, and a lot of them built good lives. But that old dream was built for another generation. It was built at a time when we had an entirely different economy, different housing prices, different education costs, different job market, different everything, and clinging to that same traditional dream today can make a lot of us feel broke and frustrated and stuck, like we refailing at something that was never designed for us in the first place. I am not saying you should reject the dream completely. At some point in my life, I would love to have a family. I would love to have a nice house with a yard. I would love to have stability. All I am saying is redesign it for yourself. Make it yours. Rewrite the rules so they actually work for you and your life. Slow stack your wealth. Live intentionally. Don't chase things that don't matter to you. And you don't have to play by rules that no longer serve you. Take it from a guy who was a complete mess with money just a few years ago. I was in debt. I was spending everything I made. I had no plan, no savings, no direction. But I started making small changes. I started learning. I started investing. I started building. And little by little things started to change. I am not rich. I am not a financial expert. I am just a normal dude trying to figure this out like you. But I know one thing for sure, the old playbook is outdated. You have to write your own. If this one hit home for you, man, I'd really appreciate if you subscribe to the channel. We rebuilding something more than just wealth here. We rebuilding a new way of thinking about money and life and what actually matters. It is not about overnight success. It is about long-term freedom, small consistent steps that add up over time. Thanks for watching. Drop a comment and let me know what you think about the traditional American dream or if you've redesigned your own version. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.